Hey guys, welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kiara and I'm a full-time crochet business owner, and in this video I will be bringing you guys along with me to a market to sell my crocheted plushies. So we're going to do some market prep together. I will of course bring you guys to the market with me, kind of show you guys around and try to update you guys throughout the day. And then of course, as usual, I will give you guys a whole breakdown of all my sales and tell you guys how much money I made. So I'm pretty excited for this event. It's called the Faelight Immersive Market. So it's kind of like a mystical themed event, and there's going to be a bunch of like activities like axe throwing. There's going to be like a whole treasure hunt for people to do, and then there must be prizes at the end and stuff like that to like encourage people to come by. And some of the vendor booths are like stops for the treasure hunt, so that kind of makes them go through all the vendors and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited. I had applied for this one like a very long time ago, before I knew I was moving, because I am moving in a few months. And so when we decided we were moving, I was like, I'm not going to do any more markets to add to my plate. But then I got accepted for this one and it just seemed so interesting, so I decided to do it anyways. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. So the booth fee for this one was a bit more expensive than what I'm used to paying for like single day events, but I figured I might as well try it. You know, you won't know how it's gonna go or how the event will be if you don't try it. So I kind of just did it. We'll see. Maybe I won't make as much money as usual because the booth fee's higher. Who knows? The organizer did post like all the vendors, and I did notice quite a few crochet vendors. Some of them are plushie vendors, some of them are not. I sell mostly plushies. I did notice a lot of vendors selling things similar to mine, so that does concern me a bit, but we don't know how the event's gonna go until after the event, so we're gonna try not to like judge too much and be too worried right now, and hopefully it can still go really well. So the market is tomorrow, which is Saturday, so right now it's like Friday morning. So we will be doing all of our market prep today. And my last event was on a Sunday. It was last Sunday. So I had from Monday to Thursday to crochet a bunch of stuff, which, considering this is only 4 days of stuff, it's a lot. So I will show you guys all those items as usual, because we will need to put price tags and tags with my logo on all of them. So just quickly, I'm gonna like go through them, show you guys all the items I made. I've had to restock a lot because a few weeks ago I had a big fair that I sold a ton of stuff at. So my inventory is still pretty low from that, but slowly we're building it back up. So I'm really happy with everything I crocheted. So I won't tell you guys whether there's a pattern available like every time I show you guys something. So if there's a pattern or tutorial for anything in this video at all, even in the breakdown later on, it will be linked in the description for you guys. And if there's no link for a specific item that you're looking for, then I just freehanded it, so I unfortunately don't have a pattern to share. So I'm going to show you guys all the items, not in any particular order, just kind of going through them. They're all in a pile right now. So first I have a square weighted cushion, weighted plushie. So this one's really meant to like put on your chest for anxiety, kind of like a weighted blanket, but it's obviously a lot smaller and a lot easier to like carry around or bring on a trip if you wanted to. But a weighted blanket is so heavy and so hard to bring around. So yeah, these are great, and I did sell one at my last event, so I made another one in like a similar color to the one I sold. And my mom is the one who makes the weighted pouches. Normally I like to kind of show you guys one to show you what it looks like, but I used up all the weighted pouches that I had like not used up, so I can't show you guys one. But my mom sews them, and then she fills them with plastic and glass beads, and then I just crochet around the pouch. So this is like my square ones. These are the most expensive ones because they're the heaviest ones. The pouch itself for these is 3.5 pounds. And so yeah, this is like the heaviest ones that I have. And I have more weighted plushies that I will show you guys because I did make some more in the past week. So this is just like the square one. For the other weighted plushies, they're weighted chickens. These have been so popular, like just crazy. I mean, they are super, super cute and they're weighted, and these ones can serve more purposes. So they can be like to put on your chest for anxiety and stuff like that. Or a lot of people actually buy these weighted chickens as door stoppers since they're the perfect like shape and stuff. So the white one here is a tiny bit heavier than the brown one, so it's a bit more expensive. And yeah, again, my mom makes the pouches, fills them with the same stuff. These pouches are round though, so I just kind of crochet around them. And so the white one is 2 pounds, like the pouch inside, and then the brown one is 1.5 pounds. I usually have 3 different weights and sizes of weighted chickens. I usually have 1.5 pounds, which is the like cheapest and lightest one. The middle price is the 2 pounds, and then I usually have a 2.5 pound one, but I'm all out of those. So yeah, again, I can't show you a pouch because they're all used up. I asked my mom if she can make more because they've been selling really, really well. So these are the weighted chickens. People just love them. Then I made a snake, and this yarn reminds me so much of Reese's Pieces. Like, is it just me? It just looks exactly like the same colors. So I just had to make a Reese's Pieces snake, and it has like these cool snake eyes. I love this snake so much. Like, I'm not a snake person, but I really like this one, and I think it's just super cool. Then I made a big skull. It's basically the size of my head, because Halloween is coming up, so I have 2 more markets before Halloween. I have tomorrow's market and then another one the weekend after that. And then after that, though, it's going to be the first weekend of November, and I have a 2-day event that's actually a Day of the Dead festival, and like skulls are kind of like they kind of like represent that, I guess. And I actually did that festival last year, and I had made a giant skull, or big skull. It was about this size. And I sold it pretty early on in the festival, so I decided to make another one. If it sells before the festival, chances are I'll make another one. But yeah, it's just perfect for Halloween and then for the Day of the Dead festival. So it's like, you know, it's just perfect timing for all of that. Then I made a giant bee. His wing is like falling. I made a giant bee. I sold a giant bee at my last market last weekend, so I just had to make another one because I find these giant bees, like, they do sell once in a while, but it attracts so much attention. I have so many people, like, coming over to my booth from farther because I always put this bee kind of, like, right at the front so people can see it from far. And there's so many people that come over to my booth and the first thing they grab is the big bee. And then sometimes they end up buying something else, or they come into the booth, look at other stuff, but the bee is the thing that attracts a lot of attention to my booth, so I think I always need to have one. So I made another one, and it's just super, super cute. It might even sell this weekend too. Then I made 3 like medium bees. I have been running low on these. They're very popular too, because what happens too is a lot of people come into my booth because they saw the giant bee, and they do want the giant bee, but it's really big, and sometimes it's out of their budget, or it's just too big. And then they end up seeing the medium size, and they're like, that's a good size, that's a good price, and then they end up buying one of these because they saw the giant bee. So these are really popular, so I just made 3 of them. I do have a smaller sized bee. I didn't make any like last week, but I do want to make some today if I have time, because I am running kind of low. These sizes, like the medium size sells better than the smaller size, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. So I will hopefully make smaller sizes too today, but I made 3 medium ones. Then I made some axolotls in 2 different sizes. So this is the biggest axolotl. I just made 1 big one. And then I made 3 in this smaller size. I am holding all of them. I'm just having an issue. Here's 3 small ones and the big one. these ones, like, they haven't really sold for me all year, and then at my past 2 events I completely sold out, so I just made more. We never know, I guess. Like, it's so weird because they just weren't selling at all, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I need to make axolotls, they just don't sell. So I just made a few before my last market, and they literally all sold. I was like, okay, I guess axolotls are a trend again where I am. So we'll see if this is enough for tomorrow. Then I made 3 chubby bunnies. They're all in like the same color. I thought this yarn was just so perfect for chubby bunnies. Like, it's so Eastery. I know it's not even close to Easter, but I think it's just super cute and just perfect for chubby bunnies. And this way I can just put 1 or 2 out in this color, and then when one sells, I can just pull out another one. So it's just perfect. So yeah, they have a little pom-pom tail too, which I think is super cute. Then I made 5 of these like white, well, they're actually off-white, but like I just call them like little white geese like this. I have 5 of them. They're all identical. They have been selling crazy. Like, I don't know why. They are super cute, but I don't know why they just keep selling like they do. But I still had 1 in my inventory from my last market, but then I made 5, and I was like, hopefully this is enough, because everyone, like, people literally come into my booth and they're like, do you have any of the geese? Like, they know I have the geese and they're looking for the geese. So I just had to stock up, make sure I have enough geese. So yeah, they're just super cute. Then I have 5 of these hot dogs. I was kind of like experimenting with the bun color because I ran out of the yarn that I normally use for the buns. I have more on the way, but it didn't arrive yet. So I had to kind of like try out different things. This one is the one I usually use for chicken nuggets, but I guess it works. It's just like a different, you know, the bun is like kind of velvet, and then the sausage is not, but it is what it is. And then I also used some like this. So yeah, kind of like experimented a little bit. But I have 5 total of these. I had 1 in my inventory, now I have 6. These again have been very, very popular, and they come with their little red basket and the napkin. People just love it. When I sell a hot dog, like, most of the time it's like an impulse buy. Someone sees it and they just find it too cute, too funny, and they're like, you know what, I just need to buy it. So I just had to stock up a little bit on these, so hopefully we have enough. Then I have 2 mini dinos. This one, like, this part is very dark, so it kind of like blends in with the background, but here it is. And yeah, I just made 2. I've been out of these for a while. Figured I might as well just make 2 to have them at least. And they are super, super cute. Then I have 4 small sea turtles like this. Played around with different color combinations. I love the bright colored ones, but I know not everyone wants bright colors like that, so I tried to make some less bright ones too. I still have a few of these, but they are very popular, so I figured I might as well make more now while I had time, while I had the yarn. So yeah, I just made 4 of these in all of these very pretty colors. Then I made 4 little birdies, 2 pink ones like this, and then like they're both dark blue, but this one is not as dark as this one. Just wanted to stock up a bit. They work up super, super quick, so they're perfect for market prep. So yeah, I just have these 4 little guys. Then I have 1 medium regular sized chicken, and yeah, I just made it in this color because someone did request a chicken, like a brown chicken like this. They already bought from me and everything, and they said they were gonna come by tomorrow. Not sure if they will, but at least I have it. And I did have another one, so now I have 2 in this color, but I just wanted to have 2 in case someone comes before they do and they buy like a chicken of this color. So I just wanted to have 2 just in case, but I have 1 more. And then I have 4 mini chickens like this. I don't want them to fall, but these mini chickens have been super, super popular. Everyone loves them. I only made 4. I made 1 in like each color, but I can bring the yarn like this to make some of these at the market. So that's why I only made 1 of each color, just to have them there at first. But chances are I will be bringing that yarn to the market so that either if I sell a bunch I can make more, or just to stock up on them because like they sell super fast. Everyone loves them. Then I have one mini turtle like this. I just made the shell in this color because it was like yarn scraps from something I will be showing you guys in 2 seconds. So yeah, the shells for these turtles are perfect to use up yarn scraps because it barely uses any yarn, and it's just fun to make them all in different colors. Then I made 7 of these chunky octos. I have 4 of them in this color, the same color as the shell of the turtle I just showed you guys, and that's why I made the shell of the turtle. I made 4 of these and I didn't have enough to make another one, so I just made the shell. And I have more of these chunky octos just in a different color, so I just wanted to show you guys all of these same colored ones. Then we have 3 of them in this color, the same color as like the chubby bunnies. So yeah, I think they're super cute and just like little pastel colors. So I have 7 of these total that I made. So that is everything that's completely finished that I made in the past week. I say completely finished because I did crochet some more stuff. I will show it to you guys. It's just because I ran out of stuffing and I ordered more a few days ago. It's actually supposed to arrive today. Said it was out for delivery this morning. So hopefully it doesn't arrive too late. And so I just crocheted a few more things and I didn't like completely close them off. I didn't stuff them yet, and then I can just stuff them and finish them when my stuffing comes in. So I will show you guys those unfinished items. So I have a chunky octo like this. I just left the hole down here to put some stuffing through. So I have one more little guy. Technically I made 8 of these in the past week. And I also have another mini turtle. The shell is the same as the chubby bunnies and the chunky octos. I also just made his head and I just tied the 2 like tails like this together so that I don't like lose it. And it's just, I can, you know, undo the knot when the stuffing comes in, and I will have to stuff his head and sew it on, you know, the body like this. So I have a unfinished mini turtle. Then I have 2 unfinished medium sea turtles. Kind of looks crazy like this, but this is the shell and the body. And then we have the head here. I already put their eyes in, but the head does need to be stuffed and sewn on. And then all of the fins, legs need to be sewn on too, but they don't need stuffing. So I just, again, tied all of the tails together so that I don't lose it. These ones are identical. The only difference is the eyes. So one has green eyes, one has purple eyes. So yeah, I just made 2 of these. I love this color combination so much. So yeah. So that is everything I crocheted in 4 days. So I think that's pretty impressive. And now I will need to put price tags and tags with my logo on all of those items and pack them all up for tomorrow. I do have an empty bin after my last market. When we packed everything up, I had a whole bin that was completely empty, so I am confident we will be filling up that bin and even possibly have like a few bags, smaller bags. So I will need to go get all of that ready. I won't do a time lapse because I feel like that was already kind of long, me showing you guys everything. There was so much stuff. So I'll go do that and I will talk to you guys after because there will be more market prep things to do. So I just finished putting price tags and tags with my logo on everything I just showed you guys, and my big 30-pound box of stuffing arrived not too long ago. So I'm gonna open that up and finish up the like unstuffed plushies I showed you guys. I'm gonna have to stuff them obviously and then close them up and sew some of the pieces together. And when I'm done all that, I'm gonna have to put tags on those ones too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I can show you guys the plushies like when they're all finished and have their tags and everything before I pack them up, and then we will have some more market prep to do after that. Alright, so I finished and stuffed and put tags on those items that were not finished before I had all my stuffing, and I also made one small bee, so I put tags on all of those. So I will just show them to you guys really quickly before I pack them up. So we have the 2 medium sea turtles. They are like identical except for the eyes like I showed you guys earlier. So I really love these colors together. Then we have the chunky octo like this, same color as the shells of the sea turtles. And we have a mini turtle here. And this is the small bee that I just finished. So I will be packing all of these up with the plushies that I just put tags on, and I will be bringing all of that to my car. I also packed more like bags to give to customers when they buy stuff that I put in another bag, so I also have to bring that to my car too, and my little cart because we might have to walk a bit tomorrow to bring the stuff from our car to the spot that we set up, so I just want to have it in case it's a bit far, and so I will just be bringing all of that stuff to my car right now. Alright, so I brought everything to my car, and I remembered at my last market when I was putting stuff out like on my table while we were setting up, I took a rubber ducky out of my bin, and I looked at it and it was literally two different yellows, and I was like, I must have switched yarns like midway through the duck and used a different one, but I was like, there is absolutely no way I just joined those two yellows when they don't even look the same. So then, I don't know, the whole day I was like, how did that happen at all? And so I was like, okay, while I'm in my car like putting stuff in there, I dug through my other bin to find that one duck, and I found it, but it's in certain lighting. Like here you can kind of tell it's a bit different because there's like my ring light there, but when I'm just looking at it and without the ring light, it looks like the exact same yellow. I kind of took a video outside that I will put right here. It doesn't, like outside you can still see it a bit, I think, but with just like lighting like this, you cannot tell it's a different yellow or like very, very slightly. So I don't know how that, like, the different lighting is just so funny. And under my tent, you can clearly tell it's two different yellows. So I was like, I cannot sell that. Like, I don't know, I don't want to sell it like that. So I just took the price tag off of it and I took it out of my inventory, and I'll just keep it for myself. And I will, I don't know, make sure to not switch yarns midway through a duck. Like, maybe it was just different dye lots or something. I have no idea what happened or why it's different colors like that. I just thought that was funny, but I definitely do need to make more ducks anyways. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's a bit different, but I do need to make more ducks anyways, and now that I have one less in my inventory, I need to make more. So I now have myself a rubber ducky, and I will need to make more. So I will go and crochet for the rest of the evening, and then I will have to put price tags and tags with my logo on everything I do make tonight. So I'll show you guys everything later on, and I will update you guys later on. Hey guys, so it is later on Friday evening, and so I crocheted 3 rubber duckies and 1 more small bee, and I already put tags on them and packed them up, so I won't show you guys. I forgot to film before like packing them up and everything, but I mean, I already showed you guys a small bee and the rubber ducky from earlier. The only difference between the rubber ducky I showed you guys earlier and the ones I made is the ones I made today are all the same yellow. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning before I go to the market, since like I'm done for tonight. I'm just gonna go to bed. And yeah, so I'm really excited for tomorrow. I hope it goes well, even though there seems to be a lot of other crochet vendors. So hopefully we can all do well and have a really good day. Hey guys, it's Saturday morning, so I'm all ready and I'm gonna be leaving for the market soon. So I will do my best to take some clips while setting up, since we do have like almost 2 hours to set up today, so that's more than enough time. So hopefully I'll be able to get some clips for you guys. And of course I will show you guys my whole setup once it is all done, and I'll do my best to update you guys throughout the day. I'm excited and I hope we can have a good day. guys, I'm back home from the market. The market was actually done a bit ago, but then I just came home to let my dogs out, and then I went to have supper with my family, and then I came back here. Pardon me if you hear some weird noises. My dog is literally throwing around his toy, and it's like a really hard bone, so just don't mind him out there. But yeah, so I'm really sorry. I didn't even take a clip to update you guys throughout the market. I did try to take a quick clip just showing you guys around because it was so busy. There was always more people. It was always full of people walking around. So when that's the case, I don't want to pull out my phone and start talking to my phone because I should be, smiling at people, making it inviting for them to come into my booth. So yeah, that means that it's a good thing that there was so much traffic like that. When I did take the video just to show you guys, I did do it when there wasn't anybody directly in front of my booth or looking at my stuff, and it was for a very short period of time, so I wouldn't have had time to really talk to you guys, but there was people at other people's booths. So I just wanted to show you guys a little bit what it looked like around. But yeah, the event technically started at 11 and we were all done setting up pretty early because we had 2 hours, but right when it hit 11, it started flowing and it was so busy. I was really surprised by that because this isn't a place that there's normally gonna be a lot of traffic. I do a lot of events at a public market that there's always traffic. If the organizer didn't do any advertising at that venue in the public market, it's always good to do advertising, but that's a place that there's always going to be traffic. But where we were today is not a place where there's always going to be traffic, so at markets like that you don't expect constant traffic packed all day, but it was packed all day. I was really amazed by that. Congrats to the organizers for getting that many people to come out, because to be honest, that's gotta be the most people I've ever seen come to a market just for the market. Obviously we don't count big fairs in this, because big fairs there's gonna be a ton of people, but they're not there for the vendors. But the people that came today, obviously there was the treasure hunt, there was a few activities, but that's the most people I've ever seen come specifically for the market and for that event. So that was amazing. And a lot of people had super cool costumes on, since the theme was mystical and Faelight and stuff like that. So it was really awesome to see everyone in their costumes doing the treasure hunt. It was so much fun. So I did mention, there was a few other crochet vendors, and I think there was maybe 4 or 5 total of people selling anything crocheted. Now, not all of them were plushies, but a lot of them had a variety, and some of them were plushies. So I did think it was a little bit oversaturated in just the craft itself. There was a lot of people selling crochet and a lot of people selling crochet plushies, but some of them, it wasn't the main thing they were selling, so I don't know. But I did find a few people came to my booth, and by the time they got to my booth, they were oh, another crochet vendor, because they had already seen so many. So I did think it was a bit saturated in crochet, but there was just a ton of people, so I don't want to go and complain too much about that because it was really well attended. So I did well, and there was another crochet vendor basically right across from me. She wasn't supposed to be there, but then they ended up switching her there because where she was supposed to be, the ground was a big hill. So anyways, but I did see a lot of people purchase from her, so it's amazing that she did really well too. So I'm hoping we all did well. I'm still really satisfied with my sales. I still think it was a really good day. So now I'm going to tell you guys all the good details, how much money I made, and we will do a whole breakdown of my sales. So at today's market, I made a total of $764. Now the booth fee was $100, which is more than I'm used to paying for a one-day event. I will talk a bit more about that after. The square fees were $8.71, so that leaves me with a total profit of $655.29. So that is a successful market, to me, at least. I consider this successful. I wouldn't say it was a fail at all. It was very successful. I'm very happy with that. Now, like, the only reason that I would be, like, a bit, like, okay, I would have liked to make more is because the booth fee was so expensive, and usually I don't really pay much more than, like, $70 for one-day events, so 100 was, like, a bit up there, but I mean, if I didn't want to pay that much for a booth fee, it was up to me. I didn't have to sign up for this event, but I wanted to try it out. It seemed very interesting, and it was. So yeah, like, the booth fee is a bit higher, so I like to aim to make 10 times the booth fee at events. Now, obviously, with $100 booth fee, to reach that, you'd need to make $1,000, which is 100% doable in a day. I've done it before, but it just didn't happen today. But I'm not saying I'm, like, disappointed with my sales, but I just didn't reach 10 times the booth fee, but I still did really well. But yeah, so that's the thing. The booth fee, when, like, applying for this market, I was hesitant because of the higher booth fee, but I decided to just try it out, give it a go, and it was successful in the end. Now, I will give you guys a whole breakdown of everything I sold today, so I will tell you guys how many of each items I sold out of the amount that I brought. I will tell you guys how much I sold the item for, and I will put a picture of it up here to show you what it was. So starting with small axolotls, I started with 3 of them, and I sold all 3 for $18 each. I started with 4 medium bees, and I sold 1 for $20. I started with 6 small bees, and I sold 1 for $12. I started with 2 bucket hats, and I sold 1 for $15. Now, I've been sitting on those for so long, so I was happy to sell 1. I started with 4 mini chickens, and I sold 3 of them for $10 each. I believe I said I was going to bring yarn to make those at the market, and I didn't. But I did bring yarn to make other stuff, but I probably should have made more mini chickens. I started with 6 regular chickens, and I sold 1 for $18. I started with 10 chicken nuggets, and I sold 5 of them for $8 each. I started with 4 chubby bunnies, and I sold 2 of them for $15 each. I started with 4 elephants, and I sold 1 for $28. I started with 3 ghosts, and I sold 2 of them for $15 each. I started with 8 winter hats, and I sold 1 for $20. I started with 6 hot dogs, and I sold 3 of them for $25 each. I started with 56 keychains, and I sold 6 of them for $8 each. I started with 20 small frogs, and I sold 4 of them for $8 each. So at the market, I crocheted a bunch of small frogs and a bunch of keychains. I started with 8 mini turtles, and I sold 2 of them for $12 each. I started with 5 big mushies, and I sold 2 of them for $20 each. I started with 1 mystery bag, and I sold it for $10. I started with 13 chunky octos, and I sold 1 for $10. I started with 8 mini octos, and I sold 1 for $8. I started with 3 octopals, and I sold 1 for $15. That's just an octopus plushie, but they have embroidered eyes, so in my inventory they're just separate from the octopus that have plastic eyes. I don't know why, but I just call them octopals. I think it's a super cute name. So yeah, it just had embroidered eyes instead of safety eyes. I started with 5 pumpkins, and I sold 1 for $15. I started with 7 rubber duckies, and I sold 4 of them for $15 each. I started with 7 snakes, and I sold 2 of them for $25 each. I started with 3 squishies, and I sold 1 for $8. Those are just like the little, like, stress balls, and I just crocheted around it, so when you squish it, like, stress ball kind of comes out a bit. I started with 6 small sea turtles, and I sold 2 of them for $18 each. I started with 5 medium sea turtles, and I sold 1 for $25. I started with 7 mini whales, and I sold 1 for $8. And lastly, I sold 2 items that I had like on clearance. They're just things I made a very long time ago that I'm just trying to get rid of, but still getting paid for them a little bit. So I sold one for $2, which was a little dish scrubby, and then one other item that I sold in clearance was for $5, and it was a little bag with like little round cotton pads that I crocheted, and they're like to wash your face, and it comes with the whole bag, and there's like 6 little cotton pads in there. So I sold that for $5. Very cheap for the amount of work that went into it, but that's okay. So that's a total of 56 items that sold today. So that's awesome. That's a lot of items. It was so many small items. So selling small items is great, absolutely, but it takes a lot of them to get to a good amount of money at the end of the day. But we did it, and it was a really good day. So now for today's best sellers. So number 1 is keychains, and I sold 6 of them. That's not really any news. It's always the keychains that are up in the best sellers. Number 2 is chicken nuggets. Now those have been a hit or miss this year, so I'm surprised that they made it to number 2. And I sold 5 of them. And number 3, we have a two-way tie for small frogs and rubber duckies, and I sold 4 of each of those. So yeah, I guess it's like a pretty normal list of best sellers. That's usually, you know, the keychains and the small frogs are usually up there. The chicken nuggets, like I said, hit or miss. I'll go like several markets without even selling one chicken nugget, and then sometimes I sell a bunch. So that was great, but there was definitely a lot of things that I was surprised that didn't sell. Like, I didn't sell a single goose, and like, I don't know if I mentioned this in this video, but I did crochet a bunch of them last week because they just kept selling, and then I made a bunch and I don't even sell one. So that was a bit odd, and like, I definitely thought that more like the items that fit the theme for this, like dragons, unicorns, I thought those were gonna sell, but I didn't sell any dragons or unicorns or anything like that. I did sell some mushrooms that definitely do fit the theme, but I don't know. I thought certain items were gonna sell and they didn't, but I was happy to sell anything. So yeah, I'm pretty sure like the most expensive thing I sold today was an elephant for $28, which is great, but like for the longest time, the most expensive thing I had sold was a big mushroom that was like $20, and I was like, you know, not complaining about the sales or anything, but I was like, that is so weird that they're all little things that we're selling, and especially like this market was mostly attended by adults or like people my age, or you know, I'm still an adult, but you know, or people older, so there wasn't that many kids. So usually adults usually end up buying more expensive items because it's their own money and it's for themselves and all that stuff. Like usually when parents are buying for kids, they say pick something small or whatever. So I was like surprised that it was so small items that we're selling, but I'm still very, very grateful for like anyone who bought even a small item. It definitely helped out a lot, but it was just different. So yeah, I got to meet so many great people, like customers and other vendors. There was so many other vendors that were new to me that I haven't seen at any other events, which I do a lot of events around here, and there was so many vendors that I've just never seen before. So it was super, super nice to meet different vendors like that. The organizers of this event are just so nice, and I just have to say, like, it was so well attended. I was amazed by that. The treasure hunt, there was like, I guess they could go to like the information booth at the front, and they were given like a page and it had like all the clues, and then some booths were part of the quest or the treasure hunt, and then you have to go to the booth. Like the hints were like, they were giving a hint, I guess, about a certain booth, and you had to find that booth and go to the booth and say, are you hint number, whatever, and then they would like stamp your card, and then when you had all the stamps, I guess you were completed or something, I don't know. But I had so many people come to my booth and be like, are you hint number 4? And I was like, no, because I wasn't even part of the quest. But I guess like one of the hints was like something with a bee, and I have a giant bee right at the end of my booth, so I guess a lot of people associated that, but that was just a coincidence. I always have a giant bee there, and I don't know if it was the same hint or a different one, but it was something about like soft and cuddly creatures, and so many people were like, is this you? And I was like, no, it is not me. But I guess it was another crochet vendor that sells plushies, I'm assuming. So yeah, there was a few of us, definitely. Maybe had I been the only one, I would have made more sales, but I'm still very happy with everything I made today, and I got to meet another crochet vendor, and she is super, super nice. So yeah, I'm just happy to have met all those people, and I'm happy about my sales today. So yeah, it was a very fun day overall. I'm really tired. It was a very tiring day because like I couldn't really sit down because there was just always more people, but that's good. So yeah, I got quite a few things done at the market too. Crocheted lots of little frogs, lots of little keychains, so I got to restock on those small things that were selling. So that was really great. So that's going to be it for me for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun bringing you guys along with me in this journey, so I hope you guys had fun too. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely stay tuned for more videos like this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!